Let me ask you something. Why do some people seem to build wealth no matter what situation they start in, while others stay stuck, even with good income? It's not luck. It's not intelligence. And honestly, it's not even about how much money they make. It's how they think. Because before someone becomes a millionaire in their bank account, they become one in their mind. And if you don't change the way you think about money, no strategy, no job, no opportunity will ever fully fix that. Think about it. You've probably seen people who earn a lot but still struggle financially. And then there are people who start with very little and somehow build something massive over time. The difference? Mindset. Not the fluffy, motivational kind, but real, practical ways of thinking that shape every decision they make. So let's break this down. Let's talk about how millionaires actually think and how you can start training your brain the same way. First, millionaires think long-term. Most people, they think short-term. They ask, what can I afford right now? Millionaires ask, what will this decision do for me in 5 years? That one shift changes everything. Because short-term thinking leads to quick spending, impulse decisions, temporary satisfaction. But long-term thinking, that leads to investing, building, growing. Let's be real. Buying something you want today feels good, but investing that same money, that feels boring at first. But over time, that's what creates real wealth. Millionaires are willing to delay gratification. They're okay with not having everything right now because they're focused on having freedom later. Now, here's another big one. Millionaires focus on assets, not just income. Most people are obsessed with how much they earn, salary, hourly rate, next raise. But income alone doesn't make you rich, because if your income stops, everything stops. Millionaires think differently. They ask, what can I own that keeps paying me? Assets. Things that generate income without constant effort. It could be investments, businesses, content, digital products, anything that works in the background. That's the game. Not just earning more, but owning more. Now, here's something that might challenge you. Millionaires don't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to use. That's a huge difference. Most people get money and immediately think about what they can buy. Millionaires get money and think about how they can multiply it. They treat money like a tool, like an employee. Every dollar has a job, and that job is to bring back more dollars. Think about that. Instead of asking, what can this money get me? Start asking, how can this money grow? That one question alone can change your financial future. Now let's talk about risk, because this is where most people hesitate. Most people avoid risk completely. They want safety, stability, certainty, and that makes sense. But here's the problem. Playing it too safe can keep you stuck. Millionaires don't avoid risk. They manage it. They take calculated risks. They learn. They adapt. They understand that growth requires stepping into the unknown. But they don't gamble blindly. They think things through. They prepare. And then they act. Now, here's another powerful shift. Millionaires invest in themselves first, before stocks, before real estate, before anything else. They build skills, knowledge, experience, because they know the more valuable they become, the more they can earn and the more opportunities they can create. Think about it. You are your biggest asset. Your ability to think, to create, to solve problems. That's what generates income. So if you're not investing in yourself, you're limiting everything else. Now let's talk about habits, because mindset isn't just about thoughts, it's about actions, repeated daily. Millionaires build habits that support their goals. They track their money, they plan, they review. They don't just hope things work out, they stay aware. And honestly, most people avoid this. They don't check their bank accounts regularly. They don't track spending. They don't plan ahead. And that leads to chaos. But when you build awareness, you gain control. And control leads to growth. Now here's something important. Millionaires don't rely on one source of income. They build multiple. Why? Because it reduces risk and increases opportunity. If one stream slows down, others keep going. That's stability. Not a single paycheck, but multiple flows. Now let's shift to something deeper. How you see yourself matters a lot. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm bad with money,
"I'll never be rich. That's not for people like me." Your brain believes it, and your actions follow. Millionaires think differently. They believe they can learn, they can grow, they can improve, not overnight, but over time. And that belief drives action, which creates results. Now, I'm not saying you need to fake confidence. I'm saying you need to build it through small wins, through progress, through learning. Because confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop. Now, here's a big one. Millionaires focus on opportunities, not obstacles. Most people see problems, reasons something won't work, why it's too hard, too risky, too late. Millionaires see possibilities, ways to make things work, ways to adapt, ways to improve. Same situation, different perspective, different outcome. Now let's talk about patience, because this is huge. We live in a world of instant results, but wealth takes time. Millionaires understand this. They don't expect overnight success. They stay consistent. They trust the process. They keep building, even when results are slow, because they know slow progress is still progress, and over time, it adds up. Now imagine this. You start thinking differently today. You make slightly better decisions. You save a little more, invest a little more, learn a little more. Every day. It doesn't feel dramatic, but over months, over years, it compounds. And suddenly, you're in a completely different place. That's how wealth is built. Not in one big moment, but in thousands of small ones. Now here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start shifting your thinking, one decision at a time. Because your financial life is a reflection of your financial mindset. Change how you think, and your actions change. Change your actions, and your results change. It's all connected. Now, let's bring this back to you. You're watching this for a reason. You want more control, more freedom, more opportunity. And that's a good thing. But wanting isn't enough. You have to train your mind daily, consistently, because your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it in a certain way, the stronger that pattern becomes. So start small. Think long-term. Focus on growth. Use money wisely. Invest in yourself. Build habits. Stay patient. And keep going. Because one day you'll look back and realize you're not thinking the same way anymore. You're not making the same decisions. You're not living the same life. And that's when everything changes. Not just your bank account, but your entire future. Because you trained your brain to think differently, to think bigger, to think like someone who builds wealth instead of chasing it. And honestly, that's where it all begins. And hey, if this helped you see money and mindset in a new way, I really appreciate you being here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We talk about real strategies, real habits, and real ways to build wealth step by step. No hype, just what actually works. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.